Have you ever wondered why the words you whisper to yourself in the silence of your mind seem to echo back in the events of your life? Imagine for a moment that every phrase you utter is like a seed scattered into the invisible soil of the universe. Some seeds grow into flowers of abundance, joy, and love, while others take root as thorns of sorrow, scarcity, and despair. Which garden are you unknowingly planting within your own soul? I once met a woman who carried this mystery in her eyes. She lived in a small town, quietly working each day, and yet no matter how hard she tried, her life seemed stuck in a cycle of loss. "Nothing ever works out for me," she would murmur, almost as if it were a prayer. And strangely enough, that prayer was always answered. Broken friendships, failed opportunities, endless struggle. Her words, unnoticed by her, were weaving the very tapestry of her destiny. But then something happened, a shift so subtle it could have been mistaken for chance. One morning, instead of her usual sigh of defeat, she whispered, "I am worthy of love, I am worthy of abundance." At first, nothing seemed different. Yet, as days passed, her tone softened, her steps grew lighter, and doors that had been closed for years began to open. It was as if her life had been waiting all along for her to change the script of her inner dialogue. What if every word you speak, especially to yourself, carries a frequency that the universe cannot ignore? What if the language of your inner world is the very key that unlocks your outer reality? Hidden in plain sight lies a power that sages, prophets, and mystics have always known. The tongue is not just flesh and sound, but a sacred tool of creation. And here is the question that lingers, one that might already be stirring inside you. If your words are truly spells that shape reality, then what unseen forces have your own lips been summoning into your life, without you even realizing it? Have you ever had the unsettling feeling that life is speaking to you in ways you can't quite explain? You wake up from the same dream 3 nights in a row. The details are vivid, almost too precise to ignore. A place you've never been, a voice calling your name, an image that lingers long after you've opened your eyes. You brush it off, telling yourself it's just your mind recycling thoughts. But a part of you knows there's something more. It feels like a message pressing against the edges of your consciousness, waiting for you to notice. Or maybe it happens while you're driving, your thoughts far away, when suddenly your eyes lock on a sequence of numbers, 111, 222, 333, flashing on a license plate or the glowing digits of a clock. At first, you shrug it off as coincidence, but then it repeats again and again until it feels less like chance and more like a whisper from the unseen. What could those numbers mean? Why do they follow you, as though the universe is gently tugging on your sleeve? Then there are those days when your body itself becomes the messenger. A sudden chill runs through you in a warm room, or the weight of someone's gaze presses on your shoulders, though no one is there. You tell yourself it's fatigue, stress, maybe even your imagination. And yet, deep down, something stirs in your chest, telling you these sensations are not random. They are signals, subtle but insistent, guiding you toward a truth that logic alone cannot unravel. You see it in moments of quiet too, that strange hush in the air before the phone rings, when you somehow already know who's calling. The pressing intuition that warns you not to take that road, not to sign that paper, not to trust that smile. And when you ignore it, life proves you wrong in ways that leave you shaken. You wonder, how did I know? Where did that voice come from? For many, these experiences feel like fragments, dreams, numbers, sensations, whispers. But taken together, they form a language most people were never taught to read. The world of spirit does not speak in the letters of alphabets, but in symbols, patterns, and vibrations. The repetition of a dream, the echo of numbers, the stirrings in the body, these are not meaningless. They are doorways. Signs that the invisible is closer than we dare believe. And yet here lies the pain. So many dismiss these signals, silencing their own intuition, convincing themselves it's all imagination. They live with the gnawing sense that something vital is missing, that life is trying to reveal a hidden map, but the key to reading it slips through their fingers. That ache of not knowing, of sensing something sacred but never fully grasping it, becomes a quiet suffering in the heart. You felt it, haven't you? That longing for clarity, the desire to understand why these patterns surround you, why your soul feels restless in the ordinary. And deep inside, you already suspect the truth. These are not accidents. They are messages written in the language of eternity, waiting to be decoded. But the question remains, if the universe is truly speaking, then what exactly is it trying to tell you through your own words? Have you ever stopped to consider that the very first and most powerful spiritual sign does not come from the stars, or from hidden numbers, or even from the mysterious whispers of dreams? The first and greatest sign comes from the word, from the sound and vibration of your own voice. Words are not accidents. They are not simply tools of communication. They are instruments of creation. From the very beginning, this truth was written into the fabric of existence. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. These words from the Gospel of John are more than poetic. They are a map to the hidden mechanics of reality. The ancients knew that the tongue is a divine spark, a key that unlocks the invisible into the visible. Every syllable you speak vibrates through the ether, imprinting itself upon the unseen and returning to you in the form of experience. This is the first secret. Your words are seeds, and your life is their harvest. Think of it like this. Imagine two farmers standing in the same field of fertile soil. One plants seeds of wheat, the other seeds of thorns. The rain falls equally on both. The sun shines equally on both. And yet, the harvest is entirely different. Why? Because the ground does not choose, it simply produces. Your subconscious mind, like that field, does not judge between blessing or curse, between love or fear. It accepts the seed you give it through your words, and it grows it faithfully until it fills your reality. This is why the prophets warned, death and life are in the power of the tongue. If you speak constantly of lack, you create lack. If you affirm sickness, you deepen sickness. But if you speak of life, love, and abundance, you give permission for those very things to take form around you. The ether hears every murmur, every complaint, every declaration. Words are not mere sounds, they are living forces clothed in vibration. Mystics such as Hermes Trismegistus taught that humanity was given two sacred gifts, speech and mind. With them, we stand not as victims of fate, but as co-creators with the divine. What the world calls coincidence is often the echo of your own words, returning to you magnified. When you say, "I am tired, I am broken, I am unlucky," those phrases carve deep grooves into the subconscious, and life obediently mirrors them. But when you dare to say, "I am light, I am blessed, I am chosen," you summon new patterns, opening doors that once seemed locked. Think of the countless times you have spoken casually, not realizing you were casting spells over your own life. Joking about your failures, complaining about your body, declaring with certainty that things never work out for you. Each phrase is like a command, carried into the invisible. Words of bitterness attract bitterness. Words of hope attract miracles. The harvest always matches the seed. Now pause for a moment and reflect. What have your own lips been sowing into the field of your life? Can you trace the connection between your words and the reality that surrounds you? For some, this realization is painful. They suddenly see that their struggles are not random curses, but echoes of their own inner dialogue. And yet, this revelation is not meant to condemn. It is meant to empower. Because if your words created the chains, then your words also hold the power to set you free. Neville Goddard called this the law of assumption. We manifest not what we wish, but what we assume to be true. Your words reveal your assumptions. When you say, "I always fail," you assume failure as your nature. When you say, "I am loved," you assume love as your essence. And the subconscious, impartial and tireless, brings those assumptions into form. Joseph Murphy echoed this when he wrote, "As you sow in your subconscious mind, so shall you reap in your body and environment." Oh, these are not abstract philosophies. They are laws as precise as gravity. Even science now whispers fragments of this truth. Sound waves, though invisible, shape matter. Experiments with vibration on sand or water reveal intricate patterns, geometric designs that emerge from mere tones. If simple sound can arrange particles into beauty or chaos, how much more can the living words of a conscious being arrange the matter of their destiny? And here is where the first great secret deepens. Words are not just external. The most potent language is the one no one else hears, the conversations you have with yourself. Your inner dialogue is the fountain from which all outer speech flows. If within you there is constant complaint, judgment and fear, your outer world will mirror it. But if within you there is blessing, gratitude and love, the outer world cannot resist but align. This is why mystics often said, "Guard your tongue, but guard your heart even more." For from the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Can you begin to feel the weight of this revelation? Every word you have ever spoken still lingers in the ether, echoing like ripples across eternity. Nothing is lost, nothing is wasted. This is why Hermes declared that speech is eternal, outlasting even the body. To understand this is to awaken to your sacred responsibility, to choose your words with reverence, as if each one were a prayer that shapes worlds. So I ask you, what spells have you been casting unknowingly? And what miracles might unfold if you began from this moment to speak as one aligned with love, abundance, and divine power? If these words resonate with you, take a moment to like this video and subscribe, not just as a gesture, but as a step into a community, a circle of seekers who honor the hidden laws of spirit and choose to walk with awareness. Together we form a sanctuary where truth is spoken and reality is reshaped. But there is more. For if the first great secret is the power of the spoken word, then a deeper mystery waits in the shadows. How does this hidden law reveal itself in the stories of human lives, and what testimony can show us its undeniable truth? Her name was Evelyn, and for most of her life she carried an invisible weight. From the outside, she seemed ordinary. She worked at a small bookstore, lived in a modest apartment, and spent evenings alone with the hum of a television to keep her company. Yet inside, her heart whispered of something missing. She often described it as a hollow space that no relationship, no job, no distraction could fill. She would look at herself in the mirror and murmur phrases she thought harmless. "I'm unlucky. I'm not meant for love. My life is small." Those words became her daily prayer, though she never realized she was kneeling before the altar of despair. Then, one winter night, something shifted. Evelyn had been tossing in bed, unable to sleep, when she dreamed of walking down an endless corridor. The walls glowed with numbers, 444, 777, 1111, burning like fire across stone. A voice she could not see whispered, "Every word you speak is a door." She woke gasping, the numbers still imprinted behind her eyelids. She told herself it was just a dream, but when she turned on her bedside clock, it read 4:44. Her skin prickled. Over the following days, strange patterns followed her. Receipts totaled to $7.77. Emails arrived at 11:11. The chills that swept her body felt less like coincidence and more like a presence. For the first time, she began to listen. She stopped herself before speaking her usual self-curses and instead whispered almost awkwardly, "I am safe. I am seen. Something greater walks with me." The change was not immediate. At first, her voice trembled, as if she were speaking lies. But gradually, the vibration of her words began to rewrite her world. She noticed it in subtle ways: the warmth in a stranger's smile, the unexpected call from an old friend, the quiet peace that entered her chest during ordinary moments. It was as if the universe had been waiting for her to change the script. One evening, she stood in the bookstore arranging shelves when an older man approached. He picked up a book by Joseph Murphy, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, and said softly, "Your words are seeds, young lady. Plant carefully." She froze. The phrase echoed the dream, the numbers, the whispers. She asked him how he knew, but he only smiled, handed her the book, and left. She never saw him again. That night, Evelyn wept, not from sadness, but from release. For the first time, she felt the hollow inside her beginning to close. She realized that every negative word she had spoken had carved that emptiness, and every new word of blessing was filling it. She taped affirmations on her mirror, not grand promises, but small truths. "I am worthy. I am loved. I am enough." The more she repeated them, the more her life bent toward their shape. Months later, her friends began to notice the change. She laughed more freely, her shoulders were lighter, and opportunities, new friendships, better work, even the tender spark of romance began to enter her life. All because she dared to shift the vibration of her words. Evelyn's story is not one of instant miracles, but of steady transformation, like a seed breaking the soil toward the light. Now pause and imagine, how many times have you spoken phrases like hers, words of defeat, of doubt, of fear, without realizing they were doors closing in your life? And what could happen if you, like Evelyn, began to whisper a different language into the silence? If you've ever had a dream, a number, a feeling, or a sign that stirred your spirit, share it in the comments below. I promise I read them carefully, and in our upcoming videos, I may even mention your story as a way of honoring this sacred community we are building together. But beyond stories, there is something deeper still. A hidden technique that turns this awareness into practice, a way to speak not just words, but living energy that reshapes destiny. The question is, are you ready to discover how to wield that power with intention? The second great sign, often overlooked yet profoundly transformative, is found in the mirror of repetition. While the first secret teaches us that our words are seeds, the second secret reveals how the universe confirms what we have planted, by echoing patterns back to us, again and again, until we finally awaken to see them. These echoes may appear as repeated numbers, recurring dreams, familiar situations, or the strange déjà vu that makes your heart pound as though you've been here before. This is not coincidence. It is a sacred feedback loop. Life itself is reflecting your inner state, showing you, with almost childlike patience, what you are carrying within. The repetition is not meant to annoy you. It is meant to awaken you. Think of it as a teacher tapping on the same word in a book until you finally pay attention. Take, for example, the experience of numbers. You glance at the clock and it's 11:11. Hours later, your grocery bill comes to $22.22. Then, driving home, a license plate flashes 333. Most people dismiss this, laugh it off, or call it superstition. But repetition is not an accident. The ancients believed numbers are the language of the divine, pure vibrations encoded into symbols. To see them repeatedly is to glimpse the rhythm of your own life being mirrored back to you. Or think about relationships. Have you ever found yourself in the same type of argument with different people? The names change, the places change, but the script feels eerily familiar. That repetition is the universe's way of saying, this lesson is not yet complete. Look closer. Until the pattern is acknowledged and healed, it will replay like a song stuck on loop, because reality is determined to show you what lives inside you. And then there are dreams. A place, a figure, an image that revisits you night after night. Some say it's random brain activity, but those who walk the spiritual path know otherwise. Repeated dreams are sacred signs, coded messages from the subconscious and beyond. They invite you to ask, what is being revealed to me? Why now? So how can you begin to work with this second great sign instead of ignoring it? Here is a simple yet powerful technique, the reflection journal. For the next 7 days, carry a small notebook, or use your phone if you prefer, and record every instance of repetition you notice. Numbers, phrases, dreams, encounters, even bodily sensations. Write them down without judgment. At the end of each day, read them aloud. Ask yourself gently, what is life trying to show me? Do not force an answer, simply allow the awareness to grow. The very act of paying attention transforms the signs into revelations. Over time, you will begin to see the thread connecting these echoes. Perhaps the numbers confirm that you are aligned with a higher path. Perhaps the repeated arguments reveal where your words or beliefs are trapping you. Perhaps the dreams uncover hidden desires or wounds. The repetition is never random. It is the universe's way of holding up a mirror until you recognize the face looking back. This practice is not only spiritual, it is deeply human. When you become attentive to the language of repetition, you begin to move from a state of blindness to a state of awareness. You realize that life is not against you, but for you, guiding, reminding, urging you to rise. And when you listen, the patterns shift. Old cycles dissolve, new possibilities open. Remember, the same way a farmer checks his field for the first sprouts, you too must look closely at what is appearing again and again in your life. Because those repetitions are the harvest of the seeds you've spoken into the ether. By noticing them, you gain the power to choose differently, to plant anew, to transform. But here lies the true mystery. If words are seeds and repetition is the mirror, what lies beyond both? What is the deeper sign, so profound that it moves not just through speech or numbers, but through the very core of your being, through the essence of your soul? Few have glimpsed it, and fewer still have understood it. Yet it waits, hidden in plain sight, ready to be revealed. There is a sign deeper than numbers, stronger than dreams, and even more powerful than the spoken word. It does not appear outside of you, in clocks or in chance encounters, but pulses from the very core of your being. The most profound sign is your inner state of consciousness, the silent frequency you carry, even when no words are spoken. This is the current that shapes every detail of your existence. The mystics of every age hinted at this. Christ spoke of the kingdom of heaven within you. The desert fathers whispered of the nous, the sacred eye of the heart. Quantum thinkers describe it as vibration, the field of energy in which matter arranges itself. Names change, but the truth remains the same. What you are within, you become without. The world is your mirror, polished by the frequency of your soul. Think of it this way. A singer hums a note, and a crystal glass across the room begins to tremble, not because of the words, but because of the frequency. Your life works the same way. It responds not merely to what you say or what you do, but to what you are. The thoughts you cradle when the lights are off, the emotions you carry like shadows or like flames, the posture of your heart. This is the ultimate sign, the root from which all others grow. And here lies the revelation. The universe does not answer your requests. It answers your state. You may beg for love, but if your inner state is loneliness, life echoes loneliness. You may speak words of wealth, but if your inner state is fear, life multiplies fear. Yet when your inner state vibrates with gratitude, peace, and trust, reality cannot resist. It bends, it shifts, it conspires to match you. This is why some prayers seem unanswered. It is not that heaven is silent, it is that heaven speaks in the language of being. And until you align your state with the answer, the door remains unopened. The hidden prophets of old understood this mystery. They taught that salvation is not a distant place, but a transformation of state. To awaken heaven within is to summon heaven without. Now imagine this: if you carry despair inside, the whole world darkens to match it. But if you carry light, the whole world reflects it. This is not metaphor, it is law. Just as a magnet draws iron, your state draws experiences. Just as a seed grows according to its kind, your state shapes the harvest. Every number you see, every dream you dream, every word you speak, they all point back to this root, the condition of your inner being. And here is where your choice matters. Right now, in this very breath, you can shift your state. You do not need to wait for permission, for fortune, or for others to approve. You can turn inward and speak softly to your heart. I am aligned, I am loved, I am whole. And as you do, the frequency begins to rise. The mirror of life begins to change. The kingdom of heaven stirs, no longer hidden, but alive within you. My friend, I want to pause here and speak from the heart. This work we share together, these truths, these revelations, they are offered with passion, not for profit. This channel does not run on ads or algorithms, but on the devotion of those who feel called to this path. If this message touches you, I ask you kindly, subscribe, like this video, and join our community. Every gesture strengthens this circle of seekers. Every subscription tells me that these words are reaching the souls who were meant to hear them. And together, we create a sanctuary of light in the midst of a world that often feels lost in shadow. But the climax of this journey does not end here. For beyond words, beyond numbers, beyond even the vibration of your inner being, lies a truth even more astonishing. A truth that connects your personal awakening to the destiny of the entire world. It is a revelation that prophets, mystics, and visionaries have guarded for centuries. A secret that speaks not only to your life, but to the unfolding future of humanity itself. And once you glimpse it, nothing will ever appear ordinary again. From the very first whisper of a dream to the vibration of your words, from the repetition of hidden signs to the frequency of your inner state, the path has been unfolding before you. None of these signs were random. They were not accidents, coincidences, or tricks of imagination. They were, and always will be, the gentle knock of the eternal at the door of your heart. Each symbol, each moment has carried a single invitation. Awaken. Remember who you are. Step into the sacred role you were created to embody. Perhaps you have felt it already. A stirring inside, a sense that life has been speaking to you in a language deeper than words. That is because these signs are not just external phenomena. They are mirrors of your soul's journey. When you see repeating numbers, when a dream returns night after night, when your body quivers with an unexplained presence, it is your spirit trying to break through the noise. It is heaven pressing into earth through you. And this is the hope I leave you with. You are not small, forgotten, or lost. You are a vessel of divine power, capable of shaping your reality, capable of transforming not only your life, but also the lives of those around you. The universe has entrusted you with the gift of speech, the resonance of vibration, and the authority of consciousness. You are far greater than the doubts that chase you. You are far stronger than the fears that whisper in the night. The time has come to choose. Will you continue to speak words that chain you? Or will you speak words that set you free? Will you walk blind through the signs, or will you open your eyes and read the language of eternity? The choice is sacred, and the moment is now. I want to invite you, heart to heart, into something more than just watching. This is not only a channel, it is a community, a circle of seekers who share the fire of awakening. If these words resonated with you, I ask you to take 3 simple steps. Subscribe to this channel, like this video, and leave a comment with your name and city. In our next video, I will choose some of you and send a special greeting, because your presence here matters. You are not just a viewer, you are part of this unfolding story. Imagine what it would feel like to see your name spoken aloud, carried on the same current of inspiration that first drew you here. Imagine knowing that, across distances and borders, others are whispering your name in blessing, uniting with you in a chorus of awakening. This is how community becomes communion, how words become light, and how seekers become family. So speak your truth in the comments. Let your voice be heard. Say your name, say your city. Let us bless you in return. And together, let us continue walking this path, one revelation at a time, until the invisible becomes visible and the kingdom of heaven rises within us all. For the signs we explored here are only the beginning. Beyond them lies a mystery even more profound, one that will turn everything you thought you knew about reality upside down. And when that is revealed, your life will never again be the same. Because the greatest secret is not that the universe speaks to you, but that you too have always been speaking back.